In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, answer guilty. In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, answer guilty. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, answer guilty. In regards to count 4, answer guilty. In regards to count 5, answer guilty. In regards to count 7, answer guilty.
It took just about 7 hours of deliberations over 2 days for 12 men and women to seal Lori-Vallow Daybell's fate. After 4 years, they just found the Eastern Idaho mom guilty on 6 counts of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and theft in connection to the deaths of 2 of her kids, JJ and Tylee, and her husband's late wife, Tammy Daybell. We have team coverage today. Shira Matsuzawa will be joining us in the next half hour. But first, let's get out to Morgan Romero live at the Ada County Courthouse. Morgan?
Doug, 12 men and women delivered Lori Vallow's guilty verdict today just before 1 p.m. After only a few hours of deliberation this morning, that verdict, as it has to be, was unanimous. It comes after nearly 6 weeks, about 60 witnesses, and at times really gruesome and horrific evidence presented in this case. Around the courthouse today, before that guilty verdict was handed down, everyone was filled with anxiety and anticipation. In fact, Shira and I were upstairs outside the courtroom on the 4th floor, and we saw lead detective from the Rexburg Police Department, Ray Hermosillo, pacing the hallways with the lead prosecutor in this case, Rob Wood from Eastern Idaho. Both of them, before the verdict coming in, extremely anxious. Law enforcement from around Idaho, including the FBI, poured their heart and soul into investigating this case and bringing justice for Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. They saw horrific things no one should ever have to see. The judge asked everyone inside the packed courtroom not to react loudly, keep order in the court while the verdict was read. But outside, it was a different story. Many onlookers cheered once all 6 guilty counts were read. Some even cried. Rhonda Shields was one of them. She's followed this case since the kids were reported missing in November of 19. She went to school in Rexburg and has deep connections there. She was emotional as each of the 6 guilty verdicts were read, praying they would all come back guilty.
I think because I'm a mom, and I'm emotional anyways, but I just think there was so much question and so much circumstantial evidence, and we didn't know for sure whether she was going to be found guilty. So I think when she did, on all counts, it just was overwhelming, and I think it just kind of came out my eyes, and then watching the grandparents and listening to them and their gratitude, and it's been long and ugly, and it just is a beautiful thing to see justice actually being served.
I also talked to a woman who was selected for jury duty in the case but didn't get chosen to sit on the jury. She showed up today to see it through and was watching the live stream as everyone else was outside the courthouse. Jurors started deliberating around 2 p.m. yesterday after closing arguments from both sides. They went for more than 4 hours last night. They deliberated for about 3 hours, as I mentioned this morning. Attorneys say it's impossible to predict when a jury will deliver a verdict, especially in a complicated case like this where so much evidence was presented and not always chronologically. The jury decided what the facts are based on the evidence presented, including witness testimony, and applied it to Idaho law. They determined the state proved beyond a reasonable doubt all of the crimes happened. To be found guilty of first-degree murder in Idaho, the jury did not have to believe Lori physically killed Tylee, JJ, or Tammy, just that she told someone or encouraged someone to kill any or all of the victims. In the defense's closing arguments, Jim Archibald pinned the case on Chad Daybell, Lori's husband, said he manipulated Lori using religion. Archibald told jurors the state has a complete lack of proof that Lori killed her children because she never explicitly said so and never had a plan. He said people testified she was a good mom and spent her entire life protecting her kids. However, clearly, jurors disagreed. During closing arguments yesterday, the prosecution said the evidence is clear that Lori was involved. She never reported her own kids missing. She continued to collect money the kids were getting. Prosecutors closed the same way they opened this case, telling jurors this case is about, quote, money, power, and sex, and justice for the victims requires a guilty verdict. So what's next? Fremont County Sheriff's Office will transport Lori Vallow to their jail, considering it's their case, and then sentencing has been set for 3 months from now, where Lori could be sentenced to spend the rest of her life behind bars. Doug?
Morgan, thank you so much for that update on everything that happened today. We'll be hearing from Larry Woodcock a little bit later, as well as I mentioned, Shira will be joining us here at 4:30 with more of coverage around the case. Morgan, thank you. We'll have more on today's verdict coming up in our next half hour. You can scan the QR code on your screen for a link to all of our in-depth coverage from court throughout the trial. Also, Dateline NBC is airing a 2-hour episode on the Lori-Vallow trial tonight, focusing on key evidence and powerful witness testimony that led to a guilty verdict. You can watch Dateline right here on News Channel 7 at 8 o'clock tonight, just ahead of our news at 10.